Hello, and welcome back to City Skylines, Pittsburgh. To kick off today's episode, I'm placing some of these brick home assets by Sparks on Halket Street. Central Oakland, the neighborhood I'm covering in this episode, is the main business and commercial district in Oakland. The neighborhood is defined by Schenley Park, Boulevard of the Allies, Fifth Avenue, and Halket Street, which I'm working on now. The residential portion of the neighborhood is primarily composed of students at the nearby Pitt University, with a student population of around 75%. Brick row homes, apartments, and converted Victorians line the streets, providing off-campus housing for the students, and are located close by to the restaurants, retailers, and commercial located on Forbes Avenue. Throughout the neighborhood, you'll also find corner stores and small businesses such as Frenchi's Deli Market and Bootlegger's Bar. Central Oakland is also a hub for transit with 9 eastbound bus lines on Forbes Avenue and another 18 with service westbound on 5th. I still need to create the lines for most of these routes in game, but currently I have the 65 Squirrel Hill and the 58 Greenfield buses in service. I recently put out a poll on YouTube asking which neighborhoods are you most excited to see, and this neighborhood came in second as one of the most requested. This neighborhood was a fun one to try to recreate. I got a chance to use a lot of these new Patreon-only assets by Smiley's. He recently released a pack of around 50 brick row homes, as well as some painted ones, which are perfect for cities like Pittsburgh or other Midwestern cities or Northeastern cities. Other than the new brick row homes released by Smiley's, you'll notice that I'm using a lot of these low residential assets by Dudemeister, the Sears Kit Homes by Bungalow Man, and the New England Townhomes by Darf. For some of the homes, I use procedural objects to change the shapes or lot sizes just to match the real-life versions a little bit closer. Heading over to Forbes Avenue now, I'm starting to place these larger hotel buildings, office buildings, shops, retail, And for that, I'm using some of these assets by Smiley's, including his Main Street wall-to-wall and also his modern condo assets. I actually come back and work on this area a little bit later in the video. I realized later on that the Google imaging data for this block is a little bit out of date, so the drive-thru restaurant you saw me place is no longer there. It's been replaced by modern condos, so I used some assets by Reaper, and then I used an Arby's sign logo to create the new modern Arby's that's in its place. This building I'm starting to work on now is called Forbes Tower, and it actually houses some of the University of Pittsburgh schools, such as the management school. For this building, I took a high-density commercial asset and shrunk it down in PO to just have the first level commercial, and then I took a residential brick building and raised it up above to kind of replicate the way it looks in real life. And then I used some of these retail storefront signs just to make the building feel a little bit more alive. Thanks to one of my Patreon and Discord members, Gorfenstein, who sent me the picture, I was able to recreate one of the many street cafes seen in downtown Oakland. In real life, this is called the Colombian Spot, and it serves Latin American food on the corner of Forbes and Marin Ave. Gorfenstein was also kind enough to get me some boots-on-the-ground photos of this new construction site seen on McKee Place and Forbes Ave. I'm not quite sure what's being built on this construction site yet, but for the purposes of the video, I just tried to recreate some of the construction materials and vehicles seen around the site. Now I'm heading back to continue working on the residential zoning in Central Oakland, and I'm working on this weird triangle block between McKee Place, Zulamia Street, and Bates Street. This block has 3 different odd angles, so I have to use a lot of PO and adjustments with the vertices to kind of squeeze these buildings into the block. This was actually one of my favorite parts of the build. For this odd-shaped block with commercial, I use a lot of the Little Italy assets by Gilded Age, and also some of these Patreon-only row house commercial assets by Smiley's. For the residential part of the block, I use these Mid-Atlantic Edwardian assets by Dudemeister, and I stack them on top of each other to get the double balcony look that they have in real life. Oakland Square Historic District is a small part of the Central Oakland neighborhood near Panther Hollow, containing 99 historic Victorian homes built in the 1890s. Since the homes were built in the late 19th century, none of the development has changed, leaving it to be a very desirable area to live in Pittsburgh. To recreate the historic Victorian homes found here, I used these Middle Victorian Parkview row houses by Dudemeister. These houses work perfectly for this part of the neighborhood as they are actually based off the homes found here. To wrap up today's video, you're watching me work on the Panther Hollow neighborhood of Pittsburgh. Panther Hollow is a small and isolated neighborhood at the bottom of John Clare Street in Junction Hollow. This neighborhood was settled by mostly Italian immigrants in the late 19th century, and to this day it features park benches and picnic tables painted red, white, and green of the Italian flag. This neighborhood is also home to one of the many stairways of Pittsburgh, which you'll see me complete now.